Well, hello, folks out there in YouTube land. Got a big show lined up for you. Let's get right on into it. All right, yeah, the Vols have taken down the Wildcats, and the Cats are not happy. You got to realize for Kentucky, basketball is their sport. They really, really care about it, and especially when they're at Rupp Arena. But as I was preparing to watch the game, a lot of times I like to read articles and things leading up to it just to kind of get a good feel for it. And this is what Kentucky Sports Radio put out there right before the game. Yep, right there. Get ready to beat the Vols with KSR pregame show.
2 hours later.
Good evening from Rupp Arena, the saddest place in sports, where Kentucky just lost to the Tennessee Vols 103 to 92. Drew Franklin, Jack Pilgrim, Zach Gagan, and I'll be honest, we've been a lot better than we are right now, but we're here because we got to talk about what just happened. Not everyone did that tonight. More on that in a moment, but for right now, we're going to break down the game that Tennessee led from the very beginning.
Now, what he was alluding to right there when he said not everybody did, John Calipari didn't come out after the game and talk to the fans. He normally does a little after-game show, and he didn't do that. And they're a little bit ticked off about it. They even wrote stories about it. But let's see what they had to say about the game.
Please, I don't want to.
Can I hold this? Because Kentucky is the worst defensive team probably in Power 5 basketball, Power 6 basketball, and I don't think it's close at this point. Dalton Connect came in averaging 30 however many points over his last 5 games. Kentucky actually played him decently well with Justin Inadu, but it doesn't matter because everyone else on the floor does not know what they're doing. Should we do some fun with numbers real quick?
I'm excited. Let's do it.
So Zakai Ziegler has played 85 games in his college career. Can you guess what his career high was coming into tonight?
18 points.
In points and assists.
What is it?
26 points, 11 assists. Tonight he had 26 points and 13 assists. Josiah Jordan-James has played 125 college basketball games. What is his career high coming into this game?
Just lay it on us.
23. Guess how many he had tonight? 26. As Chin Coleman likes to say, you're supposed to keep the irrelevant players irrelevant. The irrelevant players were very, very relevant tonight, like my guys. And it was one of the worst defensive performances I think I've ever seen from a Kentucky basketball team. The out-of-bounds plays, as Jack said, there was instances where the guys just weren't watching the ball. They ball hawk pretty much the entire possession. They're chasing around screens. They don't know how to fight through screens. Poor Trey Mitchell, I don't know if he's hurt or something, but that was the worst. That was probably the least amount of effort I've seen a player give all year.
Yeah, they're not too happy. Now, I'm pretty disappointed that Nick Roush wasn't on there. As you know, he's one of our all-time favorite commentators, especially for Kentucky. He's just, he's kind of legendary, honestly. And the fact that he didn't respond to this is very frustrating for really all of us. It's the only negative that came out of the game because I was expecting an epic rant, and we just didn't get one. I don't know, maybe he's on vacation or something like that. I don't know. But that's the only negative thing that came out of this game. Everything else was great. Now, a lot of people call Rupp Arena, it kind of got the nickname the Death Star because it's so hard to win at Rupp Arena. But I can tell you that Triple J and Santiago, they don't feel that way at all. They've beaten Kentucky at Rupp Arena 3 times. They have a winning record up there. So instead of calling it the Death Star, I'm thinking maybe we rename it to this.
Weenie Hut Juniors? Are you saying I belong at Weenie Hut Juniors?
Yeah, something like Super Weenie Hut Junior, something along those lines would probably be a little bit more fitting. But, we don't want to rub it in. Let's get into these stats for a minute. Of course, God, they scored over 100 points. That was just amazing. And you look at how Tennessee did it. They had 5 guys in double digits. Adu had 11. Connect only had 16. That's how good a player he is that we refer to 16 points as only 16. Zeke Ziegler had a great game, probably the best game of anybody out there other than maybe one other dude. And he had 26 points. He was 8 for 11, 3 for 6 from three-pointer. Triple J had a great game, 9 for 18. He also scored 26 points. Those are all-time highs for both of those guys, so they played great. Vescovi, he scored 11. He played a real nice game. He was 3 for 4 from three-point land, so he was very efficient. Awaka, I thought Awaka played a great game. He scored 4 points. He had 6 rebounds. He only played 10 minutes, but the 10 minutes he was out there, he was good. And I liked it when that one guy tried to push on him. Awaka is like 240 pounds, 6'8", and looks like a mountain out there. And here comes this little skinny guy and pushes him from behind. And I'm sitting here going, you might not want to push that dude. He's like a 7-footer, but he probably weighs half as much as Awaka. But that was a very interesting little play right in there. Of course, he had 4 fouls in that little one spot there. Had 2 technical fouls on top of 2 other fouls. I think there actually was 5 fouls there. It was crazy. And I thought that might inspire Kentucky for a comeback, but instead we came right out and built the lead even higher after that. So I think it just ticked off Tennessee, honestly. Now, let's talk about Kentucky. They had one guy that went off. And of their starters, they had 2 guys, 2 of their starting forwards scored 2 points. That's a major problem. They were horrendous. But they had one guy that came off the bench, and he only played 27 minutes, but he did get into foul trouble, was part of it. As a matter of fact, he actually fouled out. He scored 35 points. Dillingham, you might want to start that guy. He was unreal. He looked like Connect out there. Man, he was throwing it up from everywhere, and it was going in or he was driving. I mean, he scored from every place you could score. And they still lost by 11 with him scoring 35. And that's one of the tricky parts is that even if you have a guy go off, it's really hard to win a game when only one guy's playing extremely well. Now, they had another dude, Reeves, that scored 21. He had a real nice game, but, you know, he was 8 for 18. So, you know, he scored based on volume. It's not like he shot fantastically. Same thing with Shepard. He was 6 for 14. So, yeah, he scored 16 points, but he took 14 shots. That's too many shots for that number of points. They just were not efficient. Now, you can see because of Dillingham, they shot almost 50% and 44% from three-point line, so that should have been good enough to win. And they actually outshot us, but we out-rebounded them and we played better defense. Their defense was horrendous. I don't know why they can't defend a ball being thrown in. There was twice where Connect just literally waltzed in right down the lane and had a little dunk. And they just literally passed the ball to him like 3 feet from the guy throwing the ball in and just said, "Oh, here you go, Connect." And Connect said, "Oh, thanks, boom." And the Kentucky players are over there going, "Oh, I thought he was free." So they totally screwed that up on multiple occasions. You can't just give easy buckets like that. And Zeke Ziegler, dude, man, he was everywhere. He was so fast and quick. How many layups did he have? He had just a fantastic game and played great defense too. I honestly think that's maybe the best game he's ever played. Points-wise, it definitely was. But just overall, he couldn't have played better. That guy's back. He's as back as you can be. So it was great to see that. I think they must have had a players-only meeting or something and said, look, we got to start balling out here. We cannot sit back and just watch Connect play. That's not going to work, especially when they lost that game to South Carolina and they scored like 50 points. Here tonight, they scored 103 at Rupp, or as we now call it, Super Weenie Hut Juniors. I don't think the Kentucky fans are going to find that funny. All right, anyway, I did want to cover this basketball game. It was so epic, and to go up and beat them at Rupp is just sweet because Kentucky really cares about their basketball. Believe me when I tell you they are extremely upset up there. And at some point, we'll get to hear from Nick Roush, but until then, I thought I would let's just go ahead and end this video with one of his epic rants. And believe me, it's probably worse than this, but we just didn't get to see it.
Now we're stuck here. Mark Stoops is 2-9 against this team. And to walk around this place before the game, I was disgusted. The smugness of those guys just walking around like, we're going to walk in here, we're going to kick your ass, and you can't do anything about it. And it made me sick. And you know what? They did it. They still did it. What the hell? Can we just beat this team? I know that Mark Stoops has done a lot of good things. This is his one really bad thing. The stupid stat about beating teams with a winning record and taking the next step and blah, blah. Just freaking beat Tennessee. Please, can we just stop losing to this stupid team with their stupid orange colors, and their stupid song, and their woo, get their woo on out of here.
And if you like this content, be sure to hit that like button. Lets me know to continue to cover my Vols, the SEC, all these big stories. If you've not subscribed, it's on your right, my left. Hit this little button. I'd appreciate it. And right over here is the most recent video YouTube thinks you'll enjoy. And we'll see you next time on Sports Talk Jay.